Hello, my name is Sonji Patrick. I am the Director of Legal Education at Latino Justice Pearl Deaf. Welcome to our 30th Annual Law Day. This is our panel one. It is our law admissions, financing, and legal marketplace panel. So you're getting a whole lot of information all at once. Let me introduce you to our panelists. First is Linda Cevallos, who is the Director of Pre-Law Education Initiatives at Clio Incorporated. Next, we have Ivan Cherena Pacheco, who is an Associate Director of Admissions at the University of Denver Stern College of Law. And last but not least is Jose Bahamonde Gonzalez, who is an Associate Dean at the University of Maryland, King Carey School of Law. So let's get started. Linda, I'll start with you. You are one of our many partners that we have and that we cherish to do our very important legal pipeline work. Would you like to talk about some of the services that Clio offers to pre-law students who are just now getting started on their journey to law school?
Definitely, and thank you. Before I start, if you don't mind, I just want to thank Latino Justice, Pearl Deaf, and you, Sanji, for inviting us to be on this panel with my esteemed panelists. So I really am excited and appreciate being here and being here for the students, at least virtually. And I hope to get to connect with you more later on. So essentially, we have at Clio, we've been around for about 50-ish, we'll call it 50-ish years, where we have helped students prepare for law school. And we have different ways of doing that. One of the ways is programming. And the programs we have it at different levels depending on where you are in the process. So for instance, we have seminars for college freshmen and sophomores, as well for juniors, seniors, and postgrads. And in a bit, I'm going to go ahead and share some website information for you so you know exactly where to go to find this. And at some point, I'm sure we'll be able to share our contact information. So the students are always welcome to email me questions about programming as well as advising you through the pre-law process. Okay, so as I was mentioning before, we have different programs that we have during the year, and we all have summer programs. So I'll start with the during the year ones. And normally as you all know, with everything that's been going on, we normally have things on site. So we have something in New York, usually for, let's say, the New York, New Jersey, the tri-state area. Well, the good thing about being virtual is that now we offer that, and everybody is welcome to join. Anyone can join virtually. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start sharing my screen so you can see the different programs I'm talking about. So if you go to our website, which is www.clioinc.org, you'll see the first page right here is a home page. The best place to go to is pre-law programs, so that you see all of the programs that we have to offer to the students. I'm only going to focus on some of them today just to make things a little bit easier. I had mentioned Road to Law School, or I'm sorry, I had mentioned the programs for freshmen, which is Road to Law School here. Here you just get a little bit of what it's about. But if you get to scroll down a little bit where it says read more, you go into that segment, you will see the page, and you'll see where we are going to be in the next, this Saturday, in fact. And then the one that I normally talk about for everyone here is the New York one, which will be on November 21st. It's a Saturday. It's pretty much all day, and you get amazing information on that day. You're going to get to have a mock law class. You get to meet attorneys. You even have a small section about the LSAT, the Intro to Logic Learning. So it's a fun and informative day. And this is essentially what happens for sophomores as well. You go to a different place for sophomores, but that is just a breakdown of what you will see on that day as well. And if you scroll down, you'll see on the side all the programs, so you can toggle through there. So we have the Sophomore Super Saturdays. you click on that, and that'll take you to the sophomore Super Saturdays. And you will be able to register from that page as well. You will see again November 21st. And we will have other programming going on in 2021. But right now we're still working out those details. And you just register right here. It's very, very simple. And the last program I'm going to talk about during the year that we normally have during the year are for college juniors, seniors, and postgrads. And that is the Juniors Jumpstart, the LSAT. So if you give me one moment here to get you to that place right here, Juniors Jumpstart, the LSAT. And during the Juniors Jumpstart, the LSAT, as you probably guessed it by the name, we focus on the LSAT. So all the students are the lucky students, we'll call them. They get a chance to do a practice LSAT exam. And now with everything being digital, with the LSAT itself, with the LSAT Flex, our instructors will be doing something very similar to that, so the students can get used to taking the exam online. Okay. After you take the actual exam, you are going to get your scores back on that same day. The idea behind Junior Jumpstart LSAT is that we don't want you taking the LSAT the day of to see how you're going to do. We want you to take it, we want you to practice before you take it. And you can, in a way, think of ours as another practice exam that you're taking, or possibly the first practice exam you're taking. But we want you to leave with understanding what your score looks like, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses may be, so that you can leave with some sort of way, some sort of strategy on how you're going to tackle the LSAT. And on that day, you also will have a session that covers strategies on the different parts of the LSAT exam. So it is these programs, Road to Law School, Sophomore Super Saturdays, Juniors Jumpstart the LSAT. We've been offering this to students, I would say, about 20-ish years. And it's something that we offer every month, again, normally in a different state, but now you're welcome to join either, it doesn't matter where you are, you can join any of them, which we're very excited about. So that is the programming that we offer during the year. I would like to move on to the summer programs. Do I have time for the summer programs? Okay, so I'm going to talk very quickly about some of them. With Clio, the idea is we want to prepare you as much as possible. We want you to be able to say, okay, I know what a law class may look like. Okay, I know what to do as an undergraduate to better prepare myself for law school. The same is true for our summer programs. One of them is about helping you with the application packet itself. Now you through the year, you are ready to start applying to law school, but a lot of times students don't know which way to turn, you know? And this is a program we offer called Achieving Success in the Application Process, ASAP for short. So let me take you down to that one. Okay, so again, Achieving Success in the Application Process, ASAP. And we've had this program over a decade as well. And you can see here where we had it, the particular locations, we had different dates, but essentially it was everywhere again, because we had what happens in that program is Clio is very lucky to have amazing law school partners and at the admissions folks. So we're talking about directors of law school admissions, the deans of admissions are the ones who are invited to present to the students, because you're hearing it from the people who make the decisions day in and day out of what are they looking for in an application packet? What makes that application packet competitive for them and for their law school environment? So it's a 2-day program, and it's pretty much all day as well. And the idea again behind it is that you leave with a lot of invaluable information. Sometimes students say it's overwhelming, but the great news is that again, you leave with a plan. And that's what we want. We want to make sure that you understand that, yes, LSAT, very important. GPA, very important. Two important numbers. But normally you already know that. But some of our students forget that there are other pieces of the application packet that can be equally important and sometimes even more so. For instance, a personal statement, possibly a addendum that you may have to explain something, letters of recommendations, things like that. So we tackle all of those topics. And when I say we, I mean the deans of admissions and directors of admissions. So they're giving you just great tips on how to best put your application packet. And best of all is that you get time to ask them questions. So it's they're giving you information in general, but then they allow you to ask any specific questions that you had. And this summer, our first ASAP, virtual ASAP, and we had probably close to 200 students participate in all of them. Well, in total rather. So it is something that I always tell students, please look into it. The application doesn't even open until usually January or late January. So you who are all here right now understand how important the program is. So you can already put that on your radar as one of the resources you want to look into when you leave here for law day. So I know that was a mouthful to the question that was asked to me, but I'm very passionate, about this. I'm very passionate about helping students move along the law school admission process, and also to get them to law school. And that's another big part of my job. So aside again from the programming, it's very important for you all to understand is that, of course, I want you to do the programs with us. But I do understand there's a lot of other organizations out there that can help you. And for us, that's what's important. We want you to understand that there's resources out there. We want you to avail yourself of those resources because we want to see you succeed. So again, aside from the programming, I'm also there to guide you and advise you.
Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate your thorough presentation, and I encourage everyone to visit the CLIO website. I also encourage all of the students here to check out their local resources to help them along their pre-law journey as well. And then I'll move over to my friend here, Ivan Cherena. So, Ivan, you have been working with me for, over 20 years. You have done so much work, especially for, improving diversity, in the legal profession. And I just want to find out, from you, we're in a pandemic, what is the climate of law admissions this fall? And, after that, can you just tell us what some of the most important things, maybe the 3 or 4 things that students need to be aware of that they need to have prepared or to get prepared to apply to law school?
Great, thank you. Thank you, Sonji. It's great to be on this panel again with my wonderful colleagues. And so thanks for this opportunity. And thanks for all of you who are here this morning or this afternoon, whenever you're going to be looking, since we're taping this presentation. And one of the things that we look for is you looking at the resources. So you just heard Linda speak in real detail about some of the wonderful resources that you have. So skills or strengths that you would have as a law student and lawyer is what we're looking for right now. So that go get him, the type personality, the person who goes out there and finds out what is needed. So thanks for being here. The pandemic, yes, it has done a lot of damage, but it has also put a lot of people on alert as far as what you need to do to take care of yourself. So you're here because you're thinking about law school. And so what is it that you need? With the pandemic, we're seeing, since a lot of people are working from home, we're seeing an increase of applications earlier in the cycle. So that means that in our case at Denver, our admissions committee is starting to read and make decisions sooner. So I think that time management is going to be critical. There are a lot of people out there wondering what they need to do, wondering what the future is going to bring. But while you're thinking and wondering, start working and preparing. The person who is on time, the person who has time management is the person who's going to succeed. You want to look at a competitive opportunity that you're going to be in when you apply. So the people who are applying earlier are doing several things. They're not only applying earlier, they're preparing their LSAT earlier. You need at least 3 months to do that. So if you're wondering whether you're going to apply, start the application process. If you apply, you have everything ready and on time. If you don't apply, you have everything ready for possibly next year's application cycle. So that's one of the things we're seeing. A lot more people are taking the LSAT because the LSAT, LSAC has been really wonderful in giving people the opportunity to take the exam since it's remote now. Another planning tip is make sure that the room that you're going to be sitting in to prepare and take that LSAT is free, clutter-free, as we would say. So start figuring out where you're going to study, where you're going to sit to take that LSAT exam. If you don't have a place, you can reach out to LSAC. They have come up with some ingenious ideas of helping people who might not have a laptop, because it is only remote, but it's a digital exam, and that started back in 2019. So regarding the pandemic, one of the things I tell you not to do, if you're not sure what you want to, don't run to apply to law school as a solution. Applying to law school takes a lot of time and thought and preparation. It should not be a last minute remedy for what I'm going to do if I'm not working right now. So the climate for law admissions, it's full strength ahead. We weren't sure, the law schools were not sure who was going to walk into their class in August of 2020. Many of us were delightfully surprised at the number of people who did maintain their seat, they paid for their seat, and they enrolled that first day. So the climate is, we're moving forward, either with you or without you. And if it's with you, you've got to be the best prepared. A few of the things that I would say is, you're telling us who you are in the application process. So who is it that you want us to know? So there's going to be the ability for you to tell us in your personal statement, but you're telling us more than words. You're telling us that you're well prepared by your organizational opportunities. So that means if there are deadlines, you're not just arriving at the deadline, you're arriving well in advance. So that takes planning. If you don't feel that you can pull it all together by the 2021 admission cycle, then don't do it for 2021. Plan for 2022. So the main thing is that you're showing problem-solving skills, you're showing leadership, that you're taking that responsibility to find what you need in order to be the best prepared. You're showing organizational skills, and you're showing time management skills. These are all important skills to do well as a law student. But guess what? You get to show that off now in the admission cycle. So that's one of the main things that we want to make sure that you as a candidate are aware of. It's a competitive process, but it's a comparative process. You're being compared against other people. Sonji, I wanted to talk a little about the qualitative and quantitative parts of the application.
Yeah, you have about
So,
3 minutes if you would like to just go over that quickly so that they know what the differences are.
sure. The quantitative, the word quantity is in that. So you think of numbers. So Linda was speaking a lot about the LSAT. So the LSAT exam. And by the way, the LSAT is offered 9 times a year, but you need to select the date in which you're going to get that grade or that score within the earlier part of the admission cycle. So LSAT and undergraduate GPA, if you're still in school, please heed the fact that you need to improve that GPA over the last GPA grading period. So your quantitative factors are your LSAT and UGPA. If you've already graduated with your bachelor's, there's nothing you can do with that UGPA. But if there's anything that you need to write about, maybe you were young and foolish when you had that UGPA, and now you're older, maybe foolish, maybe not. So you might want to tell us something about that, and you can in the qualitative factors. That's going to be made up of the actual application. Your application becomes a legal document. It's going to follow you. When you go to sit for the bar exam, they're going to look at those applications. Everything that you sign and any attachments that you place with that application are going to be scrutinized. So when in doubt, when you're not sure of an answer, find out. Check it out before you put a response on the application. Personal statement. That's where you get to tell us who you are in your plain words. Clear, concise, persuasive. Persuade us why you believe you have the skills, the strengths, and why you're ready to go to law school and what you hope to do with a law degree. Those of us in admissions, we're curious people, you know. Some might say we're voyeurs. We want to look into your life. And if you don't tell us about yourself, we're going to make up the rest of your story. So make sure that you're clear with who you are, who you want us to be. The addenda that I mentioned a moment ago is where you will explain something that might be looked at as negative, maybe a lower grading period earlier on. But since then, you have improved your GPA, so you may not meet exactly the LSAT and GPA medians that a law school has published, but your last grading periods may meet that number. So you want to write about that and say that you're now that student. The student with that GPA is the person who's going to be walking into that law school. So the addenda always ends with something positive. Personal statement is read what your law schools ask you to write and how long. If they're silent about it, maybe 2 pages, 2 1/4. Remember, they're reading thousands of files. The addendum, let that be a paragraph. Then some of you might do a diversity statement. If the law school mentions diversity statement, you want to take advantage. That's almost like a self-reflection. What is there about you, your background, that is going to add to the discourse of that first year class? Mm-hmm. Schools are looking for well-rounded entering classes. Here's your opportunity to tell us a little bit more about you. That should be a page. So you have your personal statement as your major argument. Think of your application to law school like your first legal case, and you're presenting your statements as well as the evidence that supports it. And then your letters of recommendation. Those are your corroborating witnesses. So who do they say you are? And you're selecting those folks. Mm-hmm. This is an educational opportunity. So don't you think that faculty members who have taught you are going to be those key recommenders? So keep in mind, especially when your GPA is average or maybe a tenth below what the law school's median is, then you want recommenders who are the academic people who have taught you. Let them speak about what they observed in your behavior and in your participation in their classes. And that's a hint for those of you who are still in school. Participate. Get to know that faculty in office hours, in the classroom, outside of the classroom, so that they can write from the heart about you. And that might be a determining factor. When we're reading a lot of files, your file might surface and be the one that is saying to us, admit me, I'm going to add a lot to your school.
Great. Thank you so much, Yvonne. That was very thorough. I know that our students have a lot to consider. And I invite Jose to talk about not only financing law school, but the legal marketplace and what your legal career might look like, or what it at least looks like today. Jose, you have been a partner with us for decades now with Latino Justice, and yours is the one presentation that can change from year to year depending on the law school financing climate, and even more so depending on the legal marketplace. So, take it away, tell us what we need to know, and then tell our students what they need to know as they embark on this journey.
Welcome, everybody. And I first want to thank Sonji Patrick and Latino Justice for, again, putting this very important presentation together. It is a first for us, meaning Linda Cevallos, Yvonne Cherena Pacheco, and I, who typically meet in New York to have wonderful dinners and then come to your panel and share all these wonderful information with it. And of course, we cannot do that now. But I'm delighted that Latino Justice figured out a way of continuing to have this program through the pandemic and in a virtual platform. I also wish I had, when I applied to law school more than 30 years ago, and Yvonne Cherena Pacheco and Linda Cevallos giving me advice on what to do because I was clueless. So I am going to talk about financial aid and placement opportunities after law school. So I'm going to share my screen, which is a PowerPoint at this time. And I am going to pray to God that this is going to work. And it looks like it's working. Let's see. There we go. Does it look okay, everybody? Wonderful. So as Sanji said, I am Jose Bahamonde Gonzalez, and I'm the Associate Dean for Professional Education at the University of Maryland Francis King Carey School of Law. And today I'm going to start talking to you about making a financially educated decision and perspective on the legal market. So first, what does it take to finance a legal education? How are you going to pay for it? Very basic information. Any student packet in terms of financial aid will include probably student loans, meaning the law school, you will have to apply for FAFSA, the free application for financial aid, and that you need to find out how to do that. But first thing you have to do is to apply to your FAFSA so that the schools can get that information and start working on a financial aid package for you. The financial aid package will include, like I said, student loans, scholarships, if they have scholarships available, grants. Some may have work study opportunities for you, but be careful with that during your first year. There is a limit of how many hours you can work during your first year, and take that seriously. There is a reason why we don't want you to work, because we want you to concentrate on studying and being available to study at all times, bottom line. There are other sources of financial aid that will not be through the institutions, the law schools or the universities. These are grants and scholarships from foundations, places like the Rotary Club or other organizations, religious organizations, legislatures, et cetera, et cetera. Do your homework. Find out if in your state, in your county, within any other type of professional organization you may belong to, there is an opportunity for these type of financial funding. And of course, financial funding from family is always welcome. And I know if you are like me, that was a no-no in my situation. Yet I told everybody, every uncle, every cousin, everybody I knew. And you know what? My first computer came from a cousin. And it just made it, people make it happen. So don't just say, oh, that's impossible. Just make sure you know what's out there. Make sure you tell everybody. Important note, check your credit. Check your credit worthiness. Now, there is time for you to fix whatever needs, if there's something to be fixed, but you want to make sure that you will be available in case that your credit will sustain student loan applications, if it comes to that. And it probably will. Let me tell you why. 90% of law students borrow to pay for their legal education. And again, I say this every year, but this year in particular, because of the horrendous impact on the pandemic and the loss of jobs of hundreds and thousands of individuals, this situation of having to take out loans because families' wealth has basically disappeared could be a big deal this year. 80% of law students take out loans for the first time for their legal education, and 65% of students carry into law school undergraduate student debt. So like I said, make sure your credit will sustain and it's available to do this type, to apply for loans. Now remember, once you apply and get into a graduate program, you can also request that you're deferred your loan payments while you are in law school. That's very important for you to remember as you go forward. And again, ask, ask, ask. Ask the law school, once you get your financial aid package, go back and say, I really want to go there. Is there anything else you can consider me for, et cetera, et cetera. This is a very good website for you to find out information about, and I would encourage you to do that. I also understand that Latino Justice, and particular Ms. Sonji Patrick, will be putting together a program with Access Lexus or something like that, I believe. So you'll hear more about that coming up.
Yes,
So,
you were right.
oh, good, thanks. So what about employment? Well, the information I'm about to give you came out of Jobs and JDs, Employment and Salaries of 2018. This is based on the class of 2018, the class that graduated in May or December of 2018. That is because the class of 2019, we are just finishing. We're still collecting information from them because they just took the bar. Many of them, many of them have taken the bar before, but many of them we're now compiling that information. So now the National Association for Law Placements always puts together information about the class for which we have collected information about. So what do we know from that class? We know that 34,922 students, and I'm not gonna read every number, you can read them yourself, but there were 34,922 law school graduates, of which 97% of them provided some employment data. Please remember this today. Remember this today, so when you graduate from law school, or you're graduating from law school and you're in your third year, and your law school career services office is asking you to please fill out this information for them, please do so, because this is what we use this information for. We use this information to help people like you that are coming after, to give them an idea of what is the scenario when it comes to employment. That class reported 87% employment 9 months after graduation. Now notice there are a number of two main categories within it. It's bar passage required. These are jobs that require you to take the bar examination and become a licensed attorney. So in that category, there were 23,900 individuals that reported full-time employed in bar passage rate. Now, there's also 467 who took part-time employment. That means that they were not able to find full-time employment, yet they decided that with their bar passage, they could take this job, and many people do that in order to be able to be inside this employment for any possibility. First, you start getting experience, which is very important after you graduate from law school. As soon as possible, start getting some lawyering skills and some legal experience under your belt. So it's not a bad thing to have to, of course, it's not the best thing, but it's, if you have nothing, taking a part-time job may be a good idea in order for you to start your network and to start building your lawyering skills. Now, 4,193 student graduates went to what we understand to be JD Advantage. These are jobs for which your Juris Doctor is an advantage, but they do not require for you to be licensed. And there's a whole list of possible opportunities through that. Typically, you have something else in your background that, together with your JD, makes you a qualifying candidate and applicant for positions such as compliance officers. Financial institutions have many people in this category, management consulting firms, et cetera, et cetera. Other professionals, we also had people that went to other professions that were back into where they were doing before law school, or went into positions of the higher management categories within places they had worked before. There's a small percentage that pursue other advanced degrees, and unfortunately, 11% reported not being employed. Now, I want to point out to you that of that top 34,922 students, only 87% reported employment information. Again, that number went down. Everybody that reported employment data, they may have said, oh, I have a job, but didn't say anything else, didn't give any more information. So that's important to point out. Next, this is how the pie chart is divided, meaning private practice, we still have the largest number of students graduating and going into private practice. However, please understand that when you see 51% of the graduates are going into private practice, it means private practice from solo practitioners to law firms with 500 and 700 lawyers in them. These mega big law firms are typically the most stringent when it comes to requirements and in terms of law school performance and activities in law school. Now, median salaries. These are the type of employment with the median salary. Remember, a median salary, the median is the middle number. So for everybody, all types of jobs, the median salary reported was $63,000 a year. That means that for everyone who reported salary, not just employment, but actual salary, 63% was the median of all types of salary. That means that there were 50% of individuals above 63,000 and 50% of individuals below 63,000. Now, please look at the note. The percentages get smaller. Only 19,000, only 66% of the survey participants reported salary information. That's really too bad, but again, it is what it is. And you see there the different types of salaries. Notice private practice, which typically is the highest number. Again, that's many times skewed by the fact that a large number of individuals in that field went into corporate private practice with law firms that can afford to pay higher salaries. So as you can see, unfortunately, public interest continues to be the lowest paid in the opportunities. However, there are a number of incentives instead in terms of loan repayment programs and stuff like that, that people that go into public interest and government work may take advantage for, that are very, very generous and extremely allow you to take jobs in these areas and still pay your debt and live. So once you take the opportunity of looking at all this, um, you really have to sit back and say, okay, what is this the right academic program for me? So when Ivan Sherena Pacheco is telling you about applying, you have to first apply to a law school to then get a financial aid package, and then you start making these decisions of whether or not this is right for you. We all, at least I know of no one that has gone to law school and had no debt afterwards. The idea, the most important thing is know what you're signing, know what you're getting into before you make that commitment. Know that these loans that you may have to take, you cannot disclaim that if you file for bankruptcy afterwards, et cetera, et cetera. And so think about that. Do you want to be a lawyer? Bottom line. If you want to be a lawyer, it will be something that it's obviously worth your while because you will make it work. But you got to be clear about what you're going into. Now, I wanted to leave some minutes to talk about the current situation. As you can see from the slides, this is information regarding the class of 2018, the graduating class of 2018. The world changed in March of this year. It truly did for all of us. The financial crisis that was caused by the pandemic and the shutdown, we're still trying to figure out what is going to happen. What I can report anecdotally is that some students, some graduates had lost their opportunities of employment that had been secure before graduation. Many employers had to rescind offers. So we are still, like I said, they're now, we're not even collecting information about them yet. Well, we collected information at the time of graduation, but we won't know what happened to this graduating class until at least March or April of next year. However, maybe this is the right time for you. Let me tell you something. In 2008, we experienced a similar thing with the financial crisis that started in New York and then went like ripple effects through the country. And students that started law school at that time, by the time they graduated, things were much better. People were back to hiring. So don't let this current situation scare you away from trying and applying to law school, because what may happen, this is not going to be forever. That's for sure. And we will move up. We will move forward from here. And 3 years from now, imagine that you are applying now. You will be starting to apply now to start law school in 2021. 3 years from now, from 2021 is 2024. That's when you will be, or in 2023, as a second year student, you will be applying for summer jobs. That market could be completely, and I know it will probably be completely different than what we're experiencing now. So hang in there, be positive about this. Like I said, there are many people that have lost their employment. And guess what? Maybe going to law school, maybe going to graduate school is the right thing for you right now, because you are going to be getting a new set of skills. You're getting a new profession if you go into law school. So think about it in those ways. talk it over with your family, talk it over with those admissions, wonderful admissions counselors that are ready to help you, and because we know what's happening and are ready to make this process as easy as possible for you. So best of luck to each and every one of you. And I am done.
So you've gotten a lot of information from our four panelists. I thank you all so much for taking the time to not only pre-record this, but return on Sunday, October 18th for a live Q&A. The live Q&A for this panel will kick off Law Day for all of you. So I hope that you all have your questions ready, because we are ready to have a vibrant discussion. So thank you all again. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you at Law Day on October 18th. Thank you.